Monday Night Football. The Buffalo Bills are on the road to take on my New York Jets. What's going on? My name's Austin from Calling Our Shot. Now, it might look like I'm sitting in a corner, and I understand that, but lock in with me. We got some best bets to go over with this Monday Night Showdown. Now, if you guys have been watching the channel, you would know I'm currently out of electricity. I was impacted by Hurricane Milton. I've not had electricity since Thursday. Now, I am in my wife's office. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the decor, but hopefully this is the final video where I have to go straight shot, no edits, because if I try to edit on my laptop, like I said, it will take me several hours. So instead, I have the handy-dandy notebook back here ready to go. We got some winners, hopefully locked and loaded for you all. And if you're having a good day, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. Again, normally the videos are more highly edited than this, but hey, I don't have electricity. I'm sweating up a storm in here, but it is what it is. We're going to lock in and deliver some winners. And it begins by talking about how we did so far on Sunday. Now, I'm recording this at 7:31 p.m. So before the Bengals and Giants Sunday Night Football game, I don't have any straight bets in that game. Do have one play. I'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk about the winners first. Who doesn't like to do a little victory lap with some winners? Zach Ertz over in receiving yards. It was 26.5. What did he end with, like 68? None in the first half, but hey, he went off in the second half. Demario Douglas over in receptions, 3.5 at plus money. He ended up with 6. That was a great call. We had a Bijan and Algier parlay. Bijan to get 50, Algier to get 25. I honestly don't even know what they had, but they had that at like halftime. I think Bijan might have 100. Algier had probably over 50. Easy winner. Another one, Rico Dowdle and Javonte Williams under. If you took both of their regular unders, cash it. We took some alts. Sweat free. I don't know if either of those guys broke 25 rush yards. And then the final one, day one of the ladder challenge. Now, you might be like, Austin, weren't you on day 2? Yes, that should segue us into some losers. And that would be, let's start from the bottom. Day 2 of the ladder. If you know, we lost in the early window. We had that DJ Moore to get 25 yards. He had 4 catches, didn't come through. Kind of a blessing in disguise because Marvin Harrison Jr. did nuke that one as well as he got injured. I'm not too mad there. We lost actually a bunch of our unders, which unders have been really good to us this season. Swift's under in rush yards, donation. Herbert under in long completion, through to a wheel route to a RB, donation. And then Lamar Jackson under in interceptions, just a half unit. So not a huge loss there, but obviously, if you watched, he threw an interception, I want to say on their first drive. So is that ideal? Probably not. But either way, we're going to dive into the picks today. I have 2 of them locked and loaded for you. Now, there is one pick on there that I did not recap, and that will be day 2 of the ladder challenge. Again, we ran 3 total ladder plays today on Sunday. So if that one hits, hopefully in Sunday Night Football, Bengals Giants, we'll add another winner to that card, and we'll be going to day 3 for this exact game. But a reminder, please do me a favor. Help me pay some bills. Sign up for Underdog Fantasy using code COS. Free square, which is for Josh Allen to get 1 yard, as well as they'll match up your first deposit up to $1,000. I think it's a 50% match. But again, apologies, no editing. We're going to just roll right through here. First pick, that's wrong. We got the handy-dandy notebook. First one of the day is my man, Breece Hall. And I'll put these picks down in the pinned comment. Breece Hall, for 1 unit, is over 79.5 rushing plus receiving yards. Hope you got that. Screenshot, minus 110 on BetMGM. Now, I won't lie to you. When I was looking at this pick, I looked at FanDuel. They had this at like 87.5. Now, obviously, FanDuel's book I feel is pretty sharp. In fact, they were 8 yards higher for Breece Hall. I'm sure. I guess that's probably as high as I would take it. A lot of other books were between like 79.5 up to about 83.5. Now, I was close to taking Breece Hall's over in rush attempts, which is 12.5, but now bumped up to 13.5. I don't mind that play if you want to go for that. Now, Austin, why are we riding with Breece Hall? Well, let's talk about just narrative play. Obviously, Robert Saleh, the head coach for the Jets, get the heck out of here. He got fired. Then you look at now Nathaniel Hackett, normally their offensive coordinator, play caller. He's not fired, but he's not calling plays. So I don't know what the heck he's doing. What are you on the team for? I don't know. So the new guy that's supposed to be taken in for the play calling, I'll be honest, as a Jets fan, not too high hopes for him. However, it seems they're going to be pretty predicated on running the football, something they have really struggled the last 2 weeks. Now, you could say, hey, they've struggled. Breece Hall's struggled. It's been really tough matchups against the Broncos in the rain, a very good defense, and then the Vikings as well, one of the best defenses in the league. But you look at Breece Hall on the season, weeks 1 through 3, he went over this line. He had 94 or 93, 114. I don't remember what exact. I think 83 on the dot in week 3, with 18 and 37 rushing and receiving yards these last 2 weeks. But this is a prime time spot for him to go over. Why is that? Well, number one, the Bills have allowed 108.5 rushing yards per game, 9th most in the NFL. 7.2, well, just to running backs. 7.2 receptions, the most in the NFL, and 62.5 receiving yards, the most in the NFL, 2 running backs. So not only are they really struggling to stop the run, we saw Derrick Henry run all over him. Obviously, Breece Hall, a much different runner than Derrick Henry. But we've seen other teams be able to run the football. And also, since they play a lot of 2 high safety, you get a lot of those dump offs to Breece Hall. Now, Breece Hall obviously hasn't looked great the last 2 weeks, but I'm anticipating him to bounce back here. We've seen some pretty big name running backs have big games against him. James Conner in week 1, 83 rushing plus receiving. Not the best game. Achane, 165. ETN, who splits a lot of work with Tank Bigsby, 85. Now, you could be like Austin. Well, Braylon Allen, the rookie from Wisconsin, he's a stud. They're going to give him the rock, and I don't disagree with you. However, Braylon Allen not really involved a lot in the passing game, and you look at Breece Hall, he plays still 70% of snaps. Now, sometimes the touches when Braylon Allen's in there, he's probably getting a higher snap per touch, if you will, because when he's in there, they're probably running it. But still, Breece Hall, we know he's a good runner. He just has not shown it this year. What he's averaging, like 3 yards per carry. He's been involved in a lot of tough matchups, and this is his best matchup on paper. We saw last year, he had a pretty good game week 1 against the Bills when he was on a snap count. Dalvin Cook had 13 carries, Breece had 10, and he went for 147 rushing plus receiving yards. The other game against the Bills, 73, but they were down and lost that game by 26, so not a lot to go there. I think it's a big matchup and a big game for Breece Hall. If you have him in your fantasy lineup, I think this is the week you're like, finally, well, I drafted him first overall, or not first overall, but second or third overall. Hasn't paid off. This could be the week I think it does pay off. Breece Hall, love is over 79.5 rushing plus receiving yards. Obviously, individual line, I would lean towards just rushing, but I think receiving yards you want to tack on there because the Bills have really struggled against those receiving running backs. And we know Breece Hall, he could get 4 or 5 receptions. Wouldn't shock anyone. Finally, my second pick is just going to be a half unit play as my first ever field goal prop. And it's Tyler Bass of the Buffalo Bills, over 1.5 field goals made, minus 125 on DraftKings. Only a half unit. So I like the other one 2 times as much, if you will. I like that one for 1 unit. This is just a half unit play. There's 2 reasons why. Number one, it's very similar to interception props. These can be a little fluky. I think Tyler Bass gets the attempts, but obviously it's not like he's going on the field 18 times a game and he's got a chance the whole time. No, we're going to need a little bit of luck to go here, and there could be some variance depending on game script. Maybe they're going for it on 4th down in the red zone. But I like this for a half unit play, minus 125. I'm not sure if FanDuel does kicker props. I don't know. I haven't really checked, but I know this is on DraftKings and a bunch of other books. Now, Tyler Bass so far this season, 2+ field goals made, cashing this prop in 3 of 5 games. However, he's actually had the attempts, 2+ attempts in all 5. So he has had a couple games where he did miss. If he misses, tip our cap to the game, chalk it up to the game. There's nothing we can do there. Obviously, it's a field goal prop. I'm not kicking it for him. And if I were, we'd go 0 for 2. But you look at this Jets team. Well, they haven't given up a ton of field goals this year, and they've also faced some pretty bad offenses. We think about week 1. Jake Moody of the San Francisco 49ers, 6 field goals. Last week, the Vikings offense, 3 field goals. The other 3 weeks when they faced teams like the Broncos, who else did they face? They faced the Patriots, and they faced the Titans. 3 offenses are they getting down into the red zone over the 50? Not likely. And so we saw all those teams not get the 2+ field goals. One of them, I believe the Broncos, did have the attempts. They just went 1 for 2. It was that rainy game. And obviously it could be rainy in East Rutherford for this game. But why do we like field goal props against the Jets? Well, so far this season, the Jets allow touchdowns at the 6th lowest rate in the red zone. So when you get to the red zone, it's like a bend, don't break. You get to the red zone, we're going to try to stop you as best as we can, and they're really good at it. Last year, they were 7th, so right on pace. Even though Robert Saleh's out, I still imagine this defense will be very good. On the other, and then similarly, last year the Jets allowed 2.3 field goals per game. So a lot of, again, they were forcing field goals in the red zone, and I anticipate that being the same thing here. It's a divisional game. The Bills are going to trust their defense, and I don't anticipate them leaving points out on the field. If it's like 4th and 3, they'll probably lean towards kicking it because they trust their defense to go out there and try to slow down the Jets' offense. And this is a divisional game, normally going to be down to the wire. You want those points on the board instead of trying to force and try to go for a 4th and 3 or 4th and 4, which they could at the end of the game, but I don't think they will early on. I think that's when we'll get those Tyler Bass field goal attempts. This Jets defense, I think they're locked and ready to go. The Bills are dealing with some injuries of themselves. Number 1 is Khalil Shakir, obviously arguably the number 1 weapon for Josh Allen, especially on 3rd downs. He's banged up. Even if he plays, he's not going to be close to 100%. So maybe that's where we see some drives stall out. Last week, Josh Allen was terrible. 9 for 30 completing passes. I think this is the week they complete some early ones. He's not taking a lot of shots down the field, but when they get down the field, those early ones, does the field tighten up? You got to make some big-time throws, and I think he'll be a little bit more hesitant. He's been protecting the ball pretty well. I think this is a good spot to back Tyler Bass over in field goals. Long analysis, give me his over 1.5 field goals just for a half unit. Finally, I need to talk about who I think wins and covers in this game. As a Jets fan, we talked about this game earlier this week, Logan and I, and we actually both leaned Jets money line. Normally, there's just some extra juice you get when you fire a head coach. That next game, you're just juiced up. We've seen it all the time. This is a must-win game for the Jets. They got to be ready to go in home field. Now, you could argue the same for the Bills. They've lost 2 in a row. They have not looked good. Jets, I think, step up and win this game. I'm not putting any of my own money on it because I'm not losing financially and emotionally with the New York Football Jets. But I do lean them on the money line. Another prop I looked at, Aaron Rodgers, under and longest completion. I only think he's gone over this once this season. It was in week 1 when he got the 49ers to jump off sides. And obviously he completed, I think, a 36-yard pass to Allen Lazard. But either way, my official picks, just to recap them, we have a half unit on Tyler Bass, over 1.5 field goals made, and a full unit on my man, Breece Hall, over 79.5 rushing plus receiving yards at -110 on BetMGM. Again, thank you for sticking with me, even though this is a time of not a lot of electricity and still trying to find a way to pump out the videos and pump out the picks for you all. Hopefully, we're climbing to day 3 of the ladder challenge. I have no idea how that goes because the game's not starting for another 30 minutes. But you guys have a great day. Good luck on all your picks on Monday Night Football. Let me know your favorite picks down below. The next video you should see from me, knock on wood, I should have internet. I'll have my normal setup, every editing, graphics, and all that stuff ready to go. They said Tuesday at midnight was their cutoff. I've been thinking, maybe they're just putting a long cutoff and maybe they'll give it to me early. Nice one. A good one, Austin. So hasn't happened yet. Hopefully it does come. Still shout out to all the first responders. Obviously blessed to be in this position. Having no electricity is not the worst thing in the world. So there's a lot of people out there with it worse than me. So still, all the tips to the cap, to the first responders and all them for putting in their hard work. And hopefully we can cash a couple winners with you all and cash day 3 of the ladder challenge. First, we cash day 2 on Sunday Night Football. We'll see. Again, appreciate you guys again. It's Austin. I'm signing out. And I'll leave you guys with a fat smooch. All right, I'm just kidding. That's us. All right, we're out of here. See you later.